either they need to confirm on every time,
Or
but
it converts it to a zip file.
yes,
Yeah,
maybe
that's
that.
I guess that's a known issue over there. Sandeep sir, how you guys deal with it on printer side? Because I know this is becoming a problem as the mid-size customers are moving towards SaaS.
Mhm.
What's the problem exactly?
So, like, if I want to use the printer selection, whatever that thing was, where you
Document.
choose a default printer and then it
Or default
automatically
printer,
goes to it,
yes.
right? And that's kind of breaks with the whole. I knew from the SaaS perspective, I didn't knew that it was also happening on the on-prem perspective, and maybe that's my uh, limited knowledge over there. But the printer selection in the past, you can do it, and still you can do it for a report ID, and then you need to choose the printer.
Yes.
Now, uh, the problem here is that what kind of printers you can add, and then when you go to the printer management, what you see is either to do a email print, which is adding an email
Yes.
printer, or the universal print service, as Avinash is saying, which allows you to kind of then pass it to AAD and then send it back to your normal printer from there, from cloud.
We don't use either.
Yeah, because
We tell
you
printer
typically
use.
do the browser print option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. So we always tell them that you will have to do it. We don't tell these options.
Yeah, but I don't know, Avinash, how we'll be able to do a session on it because I don't have a service where I can show to you how you configure it from a universal print perspective.
Mhm.
Um, but if there
How
is
much will it
any,
cost?
I guess it's free, but only for customers who have a certain number of uh, user count. So it's based on how many users you have.
Yeah, or your license type of business center.
Yeah. So it's a service, and then you need to sign it up for it, and then manage your universal print portal.
Let me see if I can do that. We will have to go to printer settings,
Printer management. If you just go to
printer
printer
management.
management
Can I
and
share my
then
screen?
click, yeah, yeah,
We're not.
go ahead.
I can't share my screen. There's not an option.
Let me pause the sharing or recording.
Mm.
Yeah, I can't pause, right? I'll have to stop. Okay, let's stop it. I'll start it again.
But I can't share my
I'll
screen.
do that. Yeah, I'll just adjusting cost in the prior versions of nav and bc, right? So what
Mhm.
they did, they understood that what happens if there is one or two items which is causing problems in the adjust cost, the whole batch recalls itself. Nothing, no item had cost adjusted, right? And it was hard for customers to analyze which items have problems and to analyze it separately. So what they have done is they have built a new page called cost adjustment, I guess. Where is that? Not this. Inventory cost adjustment. Okay. It falls under report analysis, but it's a page. Okay. Now it's the similar page, or not the page. It was a report in the past. This page lists down all your item that you have, and then now what you can do is you can only show items which are not adjusted and things like that, and then you can also see which is included and all. Then what you can do now is first you can run the whole adjust cost as you used to run in BC or NAV in the past as one go, right? And it might fail on the fifth item. And anytime it fails on an item, everything rolls back and none of the item has got adjusted. But then they brought this concept of adding the batches. So now what you can do is you can go into the item batches and either manually create batch, or if an item in the middle is failing, you can just start the run. What will happen as you start the run? So if you have item number, let's say from 1 to 100 and 20th item have a problem, it'll run the batch for complete item, and as soon as it finds an item which have a problem, It creates a filter for you. So let's say whatever the item number is, and then let's say 20th item a problem. So it'll do 1 to 19 as one, and then put 20 as separate item number.
Mhm.
Okay. We'll only try 20 as a separate, only that item for adjusting cost. If it fails, okay, then it moves and do a 21 to 100 again. And let's assume on 51 again there is a problem, so it'll come back and change this filter to 50 and again try 51 to get separately. With this, at the end it'll give you only items which have problems. But that is not only built for this feature. The other scenario what Microsoft explained is you can have different batches even if you don't have problem, and each of the batch that you list here will run on a separate session. So if you have 200 items and you want 50 together, another 50 together, and another 100 together, you can club them into 3 batches, or and then all these batches will run parallelly in their independent session. They'll not overlap with each other. So your cost is actually adjusting parallelly at the same time rather than doing it one go. This field tells you how many times it'll try if there is a failure in one of the item in that batch. Okay, and then the options remain same as it is. You can see whatever is happening from here. There are logging options. You can see the ledger entries that are created after that, and then you can see the log per run or log per item. So anytime you run the adjust cost, whatever happens, you will have a summary of what failed, why it is failed, if it is a failure, and then you'll be able to see the log of the whole process if needed. Not just that, if you are trying on a particular item, there somewhere there is a boolean or a function here which allows you to reset this cost is adjusted. Where is that? Reset cost is adjusted. So if you select this, it'll just uncheck this boolean on those items and then remove that. Okay. So it's just resetting the cost that is adjusted. So now if you notice, the cost is not adjusted, and I can run it either in one go for selected item or for all item if needed. It just does the same thing as it does, and then everything that gets executed gets a log entry created here because I just ran it for an item and there were no problems, I guess. So there's nothing that got tracked. If you have problems, or if you want to exclude some item, if you paid attention here, you can also create a excluded list that I don't want these items to be considered when I run the adjust cost, and those items will be excluded during the process. If you have errors in your process, what you can do is you will be able to, and these are those include and exclude item from the adjustment batch. Under the diagnostic option, you can export the item data, which is exporting in a very weird way, to be very fair. So when you try to open this, what opens up is on my other screen. Let me drag it here. Is this?
Wow.
This contains the item detail, all related item detail, and also including your ledgers. So these are ledgers, ledger entry number 9, 14, and everything. And then on a completely fresh environment, you can load this data and then handle or debug this separately if there is a problem. And in the same way, as I said, on a separate environment, you can import the data back. Only for sandbox scenarios. And I'm very interested on your views at this feature here. There's an option to delete item data.
Don't tell me this.
Now, this is only for sandbox. You'll not be able to execute this on production. And this removes all these entries for all the items. Remember this, not for one item. And this is only allowed in sandbox. Remember this. Okay.
Wow.
And I have tried it on a sandbox and it doesn't take much time. And maybe because on the Cronus there is not much data. because I was interested to see how much time it takes to kind of actually clear all these tables. So this is a little bit tricky, but the idea that Microsoft shared behind it is you kind of create a sandbox. If you have a problem, you delete all the item data, you import the data that you bring from the production, and then just handle that item to see what's happening with that item in that just cost. Okay. Interestingly, this report was pretty interesting. So let's have a look. Uh, what is that? Okay, let's see. Inventory cost adjustment 5801. If you come up here and search for this, you get a page. And then after the layout, there's an action to. There's a lot of options, but value entry, cost, function, diagnostic. Okay, export, import, run, cost is adjusted, costing issue
Clear data.
detection, clear data. Now this is only visible on Sandbox, as I said,
Sandbox
and
can
then
also.
it'll really run this report, which finally, and this is something which I had been wanting Microsoft to do, not to delete data, but to at least have a very clear understanding of what this table is related to, right? So at this moment, when you are trying to delete any item related data, these are the table that Microsoft is suggesting to delete data from. ID, value, application entry, cost, capacity, production order, and it just empties it. So if you read about it, it just adds it into a table, asks you for confirmation, and it just do a delete all. So it is not going to do it for one item. It's just blindly going on and doing it for all the items.
But we can always filter it.
Via code.
Yeah.
Yeah, via code you can filter it. But that's the part of it. I'm a little confused. Is Microsoft not clear about it? Because, and I'm an upgrade guy, so let me talk from the upgrade perspective. So there are situations where customers have huge database sizes, and this is a very common request that either bring our last 3 year only worth of data, which technically is not possible in NAV till now, to bring selective data forward, or they say we want all our customs, just bring our masters and we'll load the opening balances, which is technically, if you think about it, it's a re-implementation, but we call it as a hybrid upgrade because your customs will not be redeveloped, they'll just brought forward as it is. Now, in those cases, if a customer says, I just want to reset my item, and there are reasons to reset item because I want to change my costing method and things like that. Is this the final list? I don't know. And can I rely on this list if somehow if I can do this?
Yeah, we can see all the tables which are related basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
because
if
go ahead.
if you have, I mean, customization or added other table, I think you need to go there and do it manually. Maybe this is not all the table.
Yeah,
I
as
mean,
in
it
if you
could be,
surely
but
have and I guess
Mm,
that might be the reason why Microsoft set it on Sandbox.
uh
Because as Avinash is saying, if you are creating additional ledger, right, Avinash? That's what you're saying?
yes, yes.
That becomes a problem.
but that will be only a problem if you are using that in modifying the cost adjustment batch job altogether. Then it will make an impact,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Otherwise not.
Because the benefit that I'm seeing is it is not removing the item from any transactional record. So in your sales order and other areas where your item is attached, it remains there. It is only removing it from your ledgers.
Only item related ledgers so
Yeah,
that
item
your
related.
address cost
Yeah,
batch job can run in isolation.
yeah. So remember this, this is available. The way Microsoft is projecting it is that just for one or two culprit items that you have, you should not be skipping running at just cost, because now with this, even if there is only one culprit item in the whole set, you don't have to worry about it. the batch will be able to adjust costs for all other item other than the problematic items. And I
This
like
is
the
good.
feature where you can do it multi-thread per batch, because that's a situation that with some of the customers, their adjust cost even run weekly cannot complete on, in 12 hours, and then that becomes a nightmare. So with multi-threading capabilities with it, surely makes a lot of sense to do this.
Agreed.
Yeah.
This is good.
So I'll
Yeah,
be interested to see similar kind of developments into other master areas, because that's surely a need of the hour. Because at least from our perspective, the the customers who had database sizes ranging from 1 GB to somewhere around 80 GBs are already, those who wanted have moved to SaaS. The next wave that we are seeing is customers whose database are ranging from 100 GBs to 600, 800 GBs. And their concern is their database size, which makes a lot of sense because it's pretty expensive in SaaS if you buy additional space.
No, it's not expensive. It was
Uh,
expensive. Now it's a lot cheaper.
yeah, but if the customer wants to have a resetted environment and reduce, because from an auditing purpose, I guess in US you need certain data for 5 years, right?
Yes.
So it's a very common request. Can we just bring the ledgers from last 5 years? And the answer as of today is no, you cannot.
Yeah.
And then it becomes to a situation that, okay, I'll maintain my on-prem database for 5 years. Let's refresh it. Let's start fresh. And then start fresh within upgrade becomes a little bit problem, because then you get into all opening balances loading and all, and even the masters in that case, because you either delete everything in NAV other than the master table and then brought them forward. But if there is a relational diagram somehow in future about each table or each entity in Business Central, that would be something that I would be looking forward, because there is no entity relationship diagram at this moment. It's just how much you know, right?
Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes we could miss.
Yeah. Okay, so before I let you go, guys, I was looking at this on Twitter somewhere. Man, I didn't look at it today, but I've paid attention to it today. So as we all know that Microsoft, as the release happens, also releases a preview version of your um, AI language. So right now I'm on the preview version or the next pre-release version of AL extension, which is V14. That will be released with the next release. So while I was looking at it and I was trying it, it was not working. So then just half an hour before the call, because I forgot to send the invite to anyone, which is my mistake. If you change of switch this runtime to 14.0, you start seeing the glimpse of a little bit more into the future. So now, if I have a table, let's create a table, or let's copy a table somehow. Let me just copy a simple table as to payment term. Ah, still have obsolete things. Okay, I don't want any triggers or anything. Okay, let me do this much just to keep it simple. Okay. Okay, I don't want you. Okay. ABC payment term. Now, typically, what will happen if I start writing a procedure, what I'll do is, let's say, handle this, whatever this is. And uh, if I have to refer to any field in this particular object, let's say description, what is the way to do it as of today in NAV or BC? I'll typically do rec dot calc payment, whatever. So the new keyword now is this. Now this means this object, okay, and it
C sharp.
refers. See, what I don't know the language, so that's why I'm not commenting on it. Or now you can say this dot again. You can refer everything on this object, like handle this, which is a method, and this is equivalent to your rec going forward. So in the next release, if you start seeing this, don't worry and don't ask the question, what is this? Because this is this object.
Okay, kind of little bit flavor of JavaScript.
So slowly, one,
Yeah.
one thing at a time, you know. So the for each game,
Yes.
and other thing games. So now this is introduced. So another the upcoming version is something that I'm very much looking forward to, because of it becomes the first jump version of Business Central,
Mm-hmm.
which we haven't seen for all these years. And
How will it matter, basically?
so it'll drop it'll give you as also a chance, as Microsoft is getting the chance to remove everything which is obsolete for all these years. So any object, any field which was marked obsolete from version nav 2016 till today, Microsoft in the jump version will start actually deleting those objects. So if you have apps on app source and you want to do a cleanup, next version is the key for it. Anyone after the next version release, if they want to go to version 26, which is the next version after that, will have to
Hmm.
halt at 25. So it adds a and as per Microsoft, every 5 years there will be a jump version going forward in future. So it kind of goes back to that perspective where a cleanup now in Business Central happens every 5 years. So I don't think I'm sure Microsoft have a lot to clean up, but I'm more interested with the partners who have apps on app source, because they have a lot to clean up.
True.
Uh, because for all these years they didn't knew what they are doing in the beginning, and then they did it and they were not able to kind of delete things for all these years, and that surely impacts the performance if these legacy things are still lying in their environment. So I did a detailed video on it, so anybody who's interested on it, here it is.
Uh,
And this is the next version, which is the first jump version of Business Central. I was doing something, I was reading a upgrade video from the previous release, and in summary, as of today, you can go from version 15 to SaaS or any version to SaaS at this moment. But once this becomes reality, then a little bit change happens. Your SaaS journey will also be a little bit tough. You will still have to come to 25.x. So
mm,
25, like 14 is a mandatory step, right? Whenever you are coming from
yeah.
a prior version. Going forward, 25 will become mandatory because SaaS will only understand schema, which is in 25 or higher. And then 30 will become a break. So at every of these instances, the schema changes will happen in on-prem and SaaS releases. And the reason we were able to replicate from all these versions till 24 is because the obsolete tables were there. So even if you had data here, Microsoft was able to run the upgrade code unit when you were upgrading to SaaS or any of these versions. But at this point, the schema will change for on-prem as well as for SaaS. And that will limit customers going directly from BC14 to SaaS or any other prior version to SaaS.
But if you look at it in a different way, it just add one more step. Upgrade
Yep.
how it's not difficult nowadays.
Yeah, upgrade is not difficult. And then the other reason is I and we personally don't do replicate from BC14 ever. And there are so many reasons behind it. Because in version 17, I guess, yeah, where they introduced the all system ID fields, that was a big data upgrade process, because every record in all the tables that you have gets a system ID and other things. And then there is a cross reference change or something that happened in these areas. The SMTP changes where the email feature came. It adds a lot of baggage when you replicate from 14 to SAS and then you run the data upgrade. And then data upgrade can take sometime days because of the database size. So what we even do today, if we are upgrading anyone today, we'll bring them to the matching version on-prem because things are in our control. We can add more resources to the server where we are upgrading and things like that. And once they are in this version, then we directly replicate to SAS. And once you replicate to SAS from the same version, you don't have to run the upgrade because your schema is in sync between SAS and on-prem. But it'll not be a problem for customers who are in 15 and higher because as Sandeep sir you said, the upgrades are not that hard. You can just do it easily. But people who are pre BC14 or in BC14, for them, it'll add an extra step, which surely will, as we go further in future, uh, you will also have to deal with features that has been deprecated. So any feature that get deprecated from 14 to 25, you will have to manage the custom data if it was there in in any feature that changed between all these versions. For example, like when the whole item reference cross reference table was replaced by the item reference table, Microsoft handles the data which is owned by Microsoft, which is the fields and all. But if you have a custom field, um, during the sync, the data goes to the higher version um, till this point. And here you will have to decide. I'm still not clear how that happens. So I'm pretty interested in looking at it and how much it make upgrades complex or expensive from a customer perspective if they are pre BC15. If they are post BC15, as Sandeep sir you said, there'll not be a huge impact on how the whole upgrade journey changes. So like this table are a famous what is that table? Uh, Product group code table.
Ah,
This was, I guess, the first table which was marked obsolete, if I'm not wrong. And if I'm wrong, let me know. But this was marked in 15.0, and this is not BC15. This is NAV 2016 when it was marked obsolete. 2016 or 2017 when Microsoft marked this as obsolete. So all these tables will be gone. The apps will become a little bit more cleaner, smaller, and hopefully it also impacts the performance of all these apps where these obsolete tables and fields are there. Okay. Anything else? Anyone? We
that
just
Um,
was
did the
great.
uh,
basic chit chat about things, which is
yeah,
this. Yes, sir.
last week we have the issue on the Postman. Did you find the
That
solution?
worked.
What
I don't
happened?
know how it worked, but it worked. I didn't try it that night. After you left, I also closed my computer and left. But
Uh,
next morning, when I was trying doing something else, and I was
uh,
doing it in the same Postman collection, it started
uh,
working. So maybe it was a thing on the Azure which was not supporting at that time.
okay.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Everything was good. As you and me and others did check the settings, everything looks good at that point.
Yeah.
I encountered a very strange problem yesterday, I believe,
Oh
and I
well.
haven't got time to find the solution.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it in the past, but somehow it was not working. So we have got this line table which has to be exposed to API. So it basically brings in purchase receipt line data from a
Mm-hmm.
third-party system, and we create a single table which will have both header and line data.
Okay.
Now, later on, that third-party said it would be good if we can transfer all the data for a particular document in one go. I said
Okay.
no problems. So we created a dummy table with a type field and a document number field,
Mm-hmm.
and this the secondary table that we have, and this has got this document number as a primary key. and line
Okay.
number, obviously.
Right.
Deep insert is not working.
Deep insert is not working.
Yeah. So if I'm sending a header and a line record using expand, it is not inserting data in the expand table, the line table
Because of
basically.
the document ID is not matching.
I don't know, I haven't debug, but it
Yeah,
was kind
because
of a strange.
the way Microsoft does it is they have this also a similar temporary table kind of thing, right? For the whole document records, and there's one table which they use for everything, for posted and unposted document. If you look at the API documentation, or not documentation, the folder that we have. Let me try to find if I can see it. And
Yeah,
they
yeah,
use
so they
this.
use aggregate table.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
what happens is when you insert the record, as soon as the header gets the ID, it automatically assigns that ID in a field called document ID in the line table. And
Yes.
that's how the header and the line are related, that they share the same document ID or ID more or less.
Yeah, that's what the in fact the link with the part
Yeah,
in
part.
the so
Yeah, in the
that
page.
that's a basically ID that you pass on.
Yeah.
I did that,
Okay.
but even still it was not working. I have to debug it tomorrow. I will see.
Hmm. Okay. That sounds weird. But let me know. Maybe drop me a ping somewhere. If it doesn't work, I'll give it a try also. I haven't
So
worked for custom APIs for a while.
your email will be the same email from where you send the invite or the other one.
No, no, I'll just put it in the chat. It's post sort of at the rate
Yeah.
Gmail. But
Yes,
I'll
I have that.
yeah, so I always check it. That's
Mm,
not a problem. Because it's been a
awesome.
while. I did work on a document custom API, but maybe few years ago. But I can surely look at it once needed. That's not a problem.
Uh, in fact, I couple of years ago I did it for purchase header and line,
Hmm.
and I created my complete custom APIs.
Right.
Didn't use the standard one.
Because the fields are not there. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we can always customize that table also. We can
Right.
we could have done that, but somehow I did it totally separate. It worked fine. There was no problem.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Okay,
I have
then
to see.
let me know if that becomes a thing, and then we'll have a look on it. And before I let you go, I was watching this report video. So these are the other report, because somebody was asking me in the previous sessions that
Let
Microsoft
me
said
take a
that there are 30,
snapshot.
35 reports, and they only shipped 8. So what does that mean? So these will come in CUs going forward for BC24, and anything that is highlighted or bolded is already available in the CU0. But all these will be coming up as a part of the same extension. And anybody who haven't seen these Excel reports, I would highly encourage you to see it, because Microsoft have surely done a great work in building these Excel layouts. So this seems the plan for 35 reports that were committed with that extension, and these will get added in the minor cumulative updates of BC24. If you're on SaaS, you'll get it automatically. If you're on prem, you will have to do an upgrade, but I don't think that that'll be a big deal. And because it's a separate extension, you might not have to do the whole upgrade. You can just upgrade this extension if you're on prem and using BC 24.0 at this moment. Okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks
Avinash.
a lot.
Thank
Great
you so
session.
much.
And I'll see you next
Thanks,
week.
Avinash.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Avinash taught us how to do the printer
Yeah.
universal print, which we did not record, but we learned something new.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye.